Oklahoma certainly wants to get there after being denied by UCLA a season ago. The Sooners were last year's national runners-up. They've got a #1 ranking next to their name, and they are ready to get this thing underway. Senior Nicole Lehrman to start off the meet for the Sooners, and does so with a stuck Yurchenko layout 1.5. Oklahoma is the #1 vault team in the country for good reason. They were the first team ever since the vault code was renormed to devalue the Yurchenko layout full. It now starts at a 995. Since that change went into effect, Oklahoma became the first team to have 6 10-0 vaults in their lineup, and that is such a huge weapon, and it's part of what gives them a #1 NQS in vault. They've had a season best score of 49.625, and this should be a terrific start for Lehrman and for the Sooners. The rest of their lineup: Anastasia Webb, Jade DeGovea, Olivia Troutman, making her return to the vault lineup tonight, Maggie Nichols, and in the anchor spot, senior Brenna Dow. So if this team wasn't dangerous enough on vault already, they bring back one of the great gymnasts in the nation, Maggie Nichols, and add her to the vault lineup as well. So the rich get richer here on vault, and how about that to start off the night? 995 out of the gate for Nicole Lehrman. Meanwhile, over on bars, NC State, the Wolfpack, who had some work to do to get here, having to win yesterday in the play-in here in the regional. As you see, Anastasia Webb come up a bit short on that 1.5, had to take a couple steps back. So not exactly what Webb was looking for to follow up Lehrman. So NC State, we talked about it this afternoon. You can kind of spin it two ways. The positive takeaway from NC State, they've got momentum. They won a thrilling dual meet yesterday against New Hampshire to qualify, but you know, they're competing for the second time in about 31 hours. So having to fight through that fatigue here in the regional. You can see Maryland just finishing up, bottom right of your screen. That was Kirsten Peterman, who led off for the Terrapins, and Cal beginning on beam, where they are quite good, 13th in the nation. They've set a new program beam record twice this year. Talitha Jones, the freshman, led off for Cal. Waiting on the score still from Anastasia Webb. And now it appears that we are ready to go. And another Yurchenko layout 1.5, just a small hop forward with 2 feet. And we are halfway home for Oklahoma on vault, as that was Jade DeGovea. Named the Big 12 Specialist of the Year this season. DeGovea, will see her again at the end of the evening on floor, which is where Oklahoma will finish up. And you can see there in the background of the shot, DeGovea's score of 9.875 comes up. So not quite able to match the heights of that opening 9.95 from Lehrman. And Oklahoma's got plenty of talent here in the back half of their vault lineup to do that, and it begins with one of the great freshmen in the country, Olivia Troutman. Yurchenko layout 1.5, and again, great distance, such a powerful vault, just a little hop forward. Seen the one stick from Lehrman, and it was duly rewarded. Cal opened with a 9.8 on beam. Peterman opened on floor for Maryland with a 9.725. Oklahoma right now with the early advantage. Bottom right of your screen, that is Sabria Rouse for Maryland. for Oklahoma. Top left, Maggie Nichols has only vaulted 3 times this season, but they've all been brilliant. And here is a stuck Yurchenko layout, 1.5. Welcome back to the vault lineup, Maggie Nichols. She began the season with a 10. Her very first vault, the first week of the year, a 10, had a 9.9 and a 9.925. She's not vaulted in competition since February 15th. What a weapon for Oklahoma to get her back in this vault lineup. Also means that they have more than 6 10-0 star value vaults. It is an embarrassment of riches, and that gets 9.95s across the board from all 4 judges. So Nichols will match her teammate Lehrman for the high vault score thus far. And the #1 vault team in the nation is looking like it at the moment. Right now, the low score was a 9.725 from Anastasia Webb. Oklahoma already at a 49.4, and you can be sure that they will look to add to it here with senior Brenna Dow beginning her night in the all-around. The Yurchenko layout, 1.5, a little bit short with a small step back, but will still score quite well. It will improve on the 9.725 from Webb, and Oklahoma will tick up toward a 49.5. For reference, it's not apples to apples quite, but since those two will likely see each other tomorrow night, Georgia began the afternoon session with a 49.5 on vault, and it looks like Oklahoma will be right there, if maybe a shade higher. It's like a 9.85 for Brenna Dow and a 49.525 for Oklahoma to begin. So with vault wrapped up now, we will turn our attention elsewhere and check in on some of our other teams and how they're faring. Maryland on floor has begun with a 9.725 and a 9.825. Right now on floor, it is Alicia Farina, junior for Maryland, has a season-best 9.9. Like a good reaction out of NC State up there for the Wolfpack on the top right. Trying to keep it rolling after a 195-150, put them into today's competition. New format sends 9 teams to 4 regional sites across the country, so it's the same as in the old days. 36 teams still qualify. But instead of 6 regionals of 6, we do 4 of 9. The 8 and 9 seeds have what amounts to a play-in on Thursday, which NC State won, and that gets them berth here into the regional semifinal. And you can see, unfortunately, there a fall on the 3rd pass, fall out of bounds from Farina, who had a great routine going, just runs out of steam right there at the end. So it'll be the first fall of the night for Maryland, and one they'll try to drop. Worth noting, Cal also had a fall on beam, so trying to bounce back here is Sophie Seilnacht, of twin Seilnacht sisters, both seniors for this Cal team. And goes without saying, it's a little unfair to just say that Oklahoma is going to be one of the 2 teams advancing tonight, but it would take something otherworldly for Oklahoma to finish outside the top 2. So you kind of have to reset your mind and your expectations if you're Cal, Maryland, or NC State to say, basically, we've got 3 teams competing for 1 spot tonight, and as such, the margin for error is so slim, and a great routine there by Sophie Seilnacht to try to get the Golden Bears back on track after a fall before her from Cassidy Keelan. Like a stuck double layout at the top of your screen there on bars. That was Caitlin Fillard, the senior, and they'll have 1 left for the Wolfpack there, sophomore anchor Lauren Kent. NC State, pretty steady team. They don't have one outlier, positive or negative, in terms of events that benefit or hinder them. Their best by the numbers is Beam, but pretty solid all the way around for the Wolfpack. And it will take likely their best of the season if they're going to get out of this regional semifinal and compete tomorrow night. But more of what we just saw from Fillard on bars. NC State also had a fall earlier in this rotation from Drew Grantham. So you've got Cal, Maryland, and NC State all in that precarious position where you've had a fall that you're trying to drop. So getting ready to finish up for the Wolfpack, Lauren Kent. She had a 9.7 yesterday. And Yeager connects it immediately to the shoot over. Last handstand looks good. And a stuck double layout. So some good stuck landings at the end of that rotation for NC State. And more importantly for the Wolfpack, they'll drop that fall and come out of our first rotation unscathed. We will have an individual competitor over on bars. It will be Danielle Mulligan, who will actually be an all-arounder tonight from New Hampshire. You can see the scores on the bottom of your screen. Will be updating throughout the night. Oklahoma in the clubhouse, 49-525. Wham Bam came out of the gate with a 9.95 from Nicole Lehrman and never looked back. Up on the beam now for Cal is senior Chelsea Shue, getting ready to finish up here. Side aerial back tuck and great dismount. Shue fired up, stuck landing, and Cal has relied on their seniors in a big spot, and they've delivered thus far. After the fall, Seilnacht and Shue both hit, and now it's a freshman, Maya Bortis, in the anchor spot. And it looked like up there, unfortunately, a fall for Mulligan. And she comes off on the bars. And shame, too. Mulligan, the good news for her, she's competing in the all-around, so she'll still have chances, even if that likely will put her all-around score in a position not to come out of this regional. She'll be able to still do so as an individual event specialist if she can qualify. The only frustrating thing is that bars is statistically her best, so shame to see kind of an uncharacteristic break from Mulligan here on bars. Meanwhile, critical routine coming on beam. And this is freshman Maya Bortis, who's got a season and career best 9.95, needing to hit here to drop that earlier fall. Looks locked in on her series. Good news for Cal is the rest of the scores are quite good, so they can shoot up with a good score here. Gainer full and Just a little extra circle, but hangs on to it, and very well done. So Cal finishes exactly the way they needed to keep themselves in the conversation here, avoid that early fall, which is one of the tough things about drawing beam to start. It's one of those aphorisms that everyone has to compete all four, and that's true. But you get no time to get into the flow of the meet. You've got to get out there and hit, and Cal able to do so. Over on floor right now, bottom right of your screen. This is Kalia Burgess, a sophomore. Finishes with the 2.5 and just came up short and takes a fall. What a pity for Burgess there, and that's twice that's happened to Maryland. Farina, same thing, fell on her third pass, and boy, that's just such a tough start for the Terrapins when you know you've got to be, as one of the unseeded teams, you've got to be nearly perfect, and sometimes depending on what happens in front of you, you need to be better than perfect to get into that top two. Certainly not the start that Maryland wanted to see. You see the NC State and Oklahoma scores. Those are final. Cal still has Maya Bordas' score to count toward that number that you're seeing on your screen. So that's going to jump as they drop that fall, and Cal will open in second. We've got an individual from Pitt competing on beam. This is Brittany West, a senior. One of the neat things about this evening session is we've got a ton of individual event competitors, and all but 2 of them are seniors. So always takes on a little bit of added significance. You could be seeing the final routine and some brilliant careers, and it's great that they've been able to maintain this format within the reconfigured regionals to give actually a chance for more individual event specialists to get to qualify here through to regionals. And we've seen Pitt, North Carolina, Rutgers, New Hampshire, Western Michigan, Temple, UNC, and we'll see later on in the evening Yale and Brown also represented here as well. The score for Maya Bordas was a 9.85, and so Cal, as you can see, jumps to a 49.2. And now in the bottom right of your screen, Alex Robinson, senior anchor for Maryland, ready to go. West finishes up, just a small step off to the side on the round-off 1.5. And an excellent routine from West. He's got her adopted team for the weekend ready to celebrate with her over there. One of the other neat things about the format of these regional competitions. So Robinson finishes up, and we will have one routine left before we take our first break of the evening. That will be from Western Michigan, senior Rachel Underwood. Underwood also an all-arounder here tonight. She'll be traveling around with Maryland, so we'll get to see her a handful of times this evening. So we'll know the standings at the end of one rotation right now. Oklahoma in first, Cal in second, NC State in third, Maryland in fourth. Terrapins will add to the score currently on the screen as they'll count the score here from Robinson. And it looks like it will be in the 9-7 range. We'll one of the other features of the NCAA Regional is 4 judge panels, so you throw out the high and low score, average the middle 2. It's quicker math than I'm capable of, but it's a 9.775 for Robinson, and Maryland at a 48-4. So still within shouting distance of NC State. They'll open 4.5 tenths behind the Wolfpack, but both of those teams are going to have some work to do to close the gap on Cal right now, who will start in second place. And our final routine of the first rotation here is senior Rachel Underwood. Underwood season high in 9.9. Her NQS is a 9.865. Right into her second pass, very nicely done. And getting ready to finish up here, Underwood's third pass. Finishing with the Rudy, beautiful. And a nice start to her night in the all-around. So with that, we are at the end of one rotation. Oklahoma coming out on fire, 49-525. Cal opens in second, 49-2. NC State in third, 48-850. And Maryland in fourth, 48-4. We'll step away and come back with the second rotation here from Athens. Oklahoma moving to bars, NC State to beam, Cal to floor, and Maryland to vault. You're watching live coverage of the 2019 NCAA Athens Regional here on ESPN3. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We get ready to start rotation number 2, night session here in Athens. Number 1 Oklahoma, 15th seeded Cal, Maryland, and NC State. Oklahoma, after starting with a 49-525 on vault, they'll move to bars, where they are number 2 in the nation. NC State moving to beam, Cal to floor, and Maryland to vault. Now, Oklahoma has just been spectacular this season. 5 scores of 198 or higher. That's a 49-5 across all 4 events, so they are on pace at the moment. Coming off of their 8th consecutive Big 12 championship. They've also won 9 consecutive NCAA regionals, so they have a chance for a decade of regional dominance, and they are underway in the top right of your screen on bars, beginning with Anastasia Webb. That back-to-back 9.9s. Season best coming into this meet, and finishes up with a beautiful stuck landing. Maryland underway with their first vault from Emma Johnson. Over on beam, Aaliyah Harrison for NC State, and in just a moment, Cal will join the party over on floor with Sylvie Seilnacht. There she is. Every team, every routine all weekend here from the Athens Regional. We'll be back at it tomorrow night as well, when the top 2 teams of this group will square off against Georgia and Kentucky with only 2 spots available to Fort Worth. Tomorrow night is just going to be brutal for 2 of those teams not to be moving on. Just so much talent here in this regional and across the country in this new format. Nice job by Harrison as she finishes up. Gainer full off the side, stuck landing. Good start for NC State. She's got to be feeling pretty good. 48.85 on bars, trying to build on that here on the balance beam, which is statistically their best event. They are ranked 30th in the country on the beam. 9-9 is the opening score for Anastasia Webb on bars. So we'll keep an eye here on Oklahoma. And here's senior Alex Marks. Season and career best 9-9 on bars, including in her last 2 meets. So coming in with a full head of steam here. Twisting double back and another stuck landing. Back-to-back sticks here for Oklahoma. All day to spot that one and plant it, and did. So Oklahoma off to a fine start. Another way, if you want to measure 198 pace, is all 9 nines. That's the way to do it. And Oklahoma likely in position here after their first 2 to continue on that pace. Maryland, meanwhile, looking to bounce back after a disappointing start to their night with 2 falls on floor. Trying to get it going here on vault. Up third, this is Audrey Barber. Schenko layout full, very nice, just a small hop. Good height, good distance. On beam now for NC State is Lauren Kent. Oklahoma indeed has started with back-to-back 9-9s from Webb and Marks. The rest of the Oklahoma bars lineup: Carrie Thomas, Brenna Dowell, Nicole Lehrman, and Maggie Nichols. This team, by the way, has a season-best 49.7 on this event. There was just no weak spot on this team. Beautiful Jaeger there by Thomas. Handstands have been on point. Another good one. Just absolutely locked in. Handstand work is phenomenal throughout this routine. Double layout, stuck landing. Oh boy, that's a great routine from Carrie Thomas. She's had a season best 9.925, including in last week's Big 12 championship. Got to be back in that ballpark here with that one. That was really, really brilliant. Bottom right, meanwhile, Cal, who's trying to keep pace and run down Oklahoma here. This is Chelsea Shue following Sylvie Seilnacht. Just a little step forward on that first pass. Seilnacht opened with a 9.725. And we've got a new season best for Carrie Thomas. Well-deserved, 9.95. Oklahoma continuing to hit on all cylinders here, and now you've got Brenna Dowell getting ready to go. She has been perfect in her career. She's got a 10 under her belt. Her best this season as a senior, a 9.95. Dowell is one of 6 finalists for the year-end AAI award. It is, to put it bluntly, the gymnastics equivalent of the Heisman Trophy. Toe on Stakachev there. Good handstands by Dowell throughout. Double layout and just a small step back. That's the first missed landing in 4 tries here for Oklahoma, and there's just not much that they're giving away. Still have Lehrman and Nichols to come. Two of the best anywhere. Finishing up NC State on beam, continuing to fight here. Good solid landings. That was Casey Nelson after a 9.725 from Leah Harrison and a 9.75 from Lauren Kent. Caitlin Fillard, Drew Grantham, and Nicole Webb round out the Wolfpack lineup. And top left right now, Maryland. This is their anchor, so finishing up on vault, Alexis Rubio. Freshman. Yurchenko layout full, small hop back. And that does show you, as we talked about, what a weapon Oklahoma's 6-10-0 vaults are when you have a team like Maryland, who's a very good vaulting team. They're 25th in the country. They've been above 49 a bunch, but when you start off from a position, if you have 6.995 vaults compared to 6.10.0 vaults, and you're starting out 2.5 tenths back with all other things being equal. And it's just, that's a hard thing to make up. After a 9.9 from Brenna Dowell, so I think the little shuffle on the landing might have been it for her. Here's Nicole Lehrman on bars. Lehrman had a 10 earlier this season against Florida. Gearing up for her dismount and another stuck landing. Beautiful routine from Lehrman, who's off to a phenomenal start this evening. She'll compete once more for Oklahoma on beam, but the senior has knocked it out of the park so far on vault and bars. 9.95 on the former, and let's see what she does here on the ladder. Bottom right for Cal is the other Seilnacht, that is Sophie Seilnacht. Her sister Sylvie scored a 9.725 to open the rotation. Following that, a 9.775 from Shu. One more bars routine to come from Oklahoma, and it will be Maggie Nichols. It's a 9.925 for Lehrman. Oklahoma already at a 49.575 in this rotation. They will remain on pace for another 198, and Maggie Nichols can add to it. Here she is. Every routine this season for Nichols, a 9.9 or above. Ray into a pack salto. Everything is just as it should be. Shapash with the half twist up to the high bar, loaded with difficulty, brilliantly executed. Gearing up for her dismount, double layout. My goodness. Maggie Nichols delivers, and Oklahoma just knocked it out of the park on bars. It's something to behold to watch this team, and there's great talent out there, and UCLA is going to be one heck of a challenger for Oklahoma. But if the Sooners could do what they're doing here, it's hard to watch them in person and think about who can beat them. They are just otherworldly right now. We'll have Jessica Wong as the individual. We have 2 10s and 2 9.95s for Nichols, so that's a 9.975. Just needed that third 10 to match her career best. How about this? 49.650 for Oklahoma on bars. 99.175. They're on a season-high pace right now in this regional. And this is just the semifinal. So, they're going to come out and try to do this again in 24 hours. Jessica Wong from Yale out of the ECAC. Top right of your screen. Meanwhile, bottom left, we've got NC State on beam. And for NC State, this is Drew Grantham. Grantham, very nice 9.85 in yesterday's competition. Second routine in 24 hours and well executed here as well. Certainly no sign of fatigue from NC State. And this is where the beauty of the choose your own adventure at home. I'll be perfectly honest that I'm not sure what the judges are getting together about on floor. My attention was elsewhere. But we'll see how this resolves itself right now for Cal on floor exercise. We've got one routine left for NC State on beam. And then Danielle Mulligan from New Hampshire. The lengthy wait on floor continues for Kiana George. Still have not seen a score for Silnocht. And we're ready to go on beam with Nicole Webb. Season best for the sophomore, a 9.875. Had a 9.825 in yesterday's competition. And Cal ready to resume over on floor. Wasn't a start value issue, or it might have been, but the judges settled on a 10-0 start value, and it ends up being a 9.725 from Silnocht. So 3 scores in that 9-7 range for Cal, and they certainly want to pick up here in the second half of their floor lineup. Kiana George, Maya Bortis, and Milan Clossy will finish up. A sophomore and 2 freshmen for this pretty young Cal team, and they're younger than they should be. They lost redshirt senior Tony Ann Williams to what amounts to a career-ending injury for the 5th year back on February 22nd, and what an enormous loss for Cal. Williams, one of 6 nominees for the AAI award. We mentioned that Brenna Dowell earlier is one of those 6 as well. So to do what Cal has done to get a national seed without their redshirt senior leader and a phenomenal talent really speaks to this Golden Bears team. As you see up on the left side, Nicole Webb finishing up for NC State. And the Wolfpack are hanging around, and they're not making the Golden Bears' life easy right now. A couple scores in the 9-8 range so far for NC State, and Cal is stuck in that 9-7 range. So let's keep an eye on this as it develops. George finishes up, and now 2 to go. Maya Bortis and Milan Clossy, both freshmen, both terrific freshmen here in the 5 and 6 spots. It's a great thing as a coach when you can pencil in 2 freshmen to close out your floor lineup. This freshman trio that they've come to rely on, Bortis, Clossy, and Talitha Jones, with a 95% hit rate this season. These freshmen have come out of the gate and contributed big routines across many events. On beam now, Danielle Mulligan, trying to bounce back from just a really uncharacteristically tough routine on bars. Had a couple of falls there, just was not her night there. So she's got 3 more events and would love to see her bounce back here in style. See, it makes it even tougher for Mulligan. She competed with her team yesterday. Obviously, they had their sights set on being here. She qualifies as an individual. And one of the odd quirks is that she's traveling around with the team that knocked her team out yesterday. You've got a lot to block out here and try to worry about doing the best beam routine you can do. Score is a 9.875 for Kiana George. So that'll be the high floor score of the night so far. And now the 2 talented freshmen, beginning with Maya Bordas. Came in a little short on that double pike. Crunched that landing a bit. Bordas finishes up with a Rudy. Check that, my mistake. Second pass, now finishing up. Just a little extra shuffle look like on that front layout. Overall, well done, and 1 now to go for Cal, and that will be Milan Clossy. NC State finished with back-to-back 9.8s and a 48.9 on beam. As that looks to be, at the moment at least, as we near the halfway point, probably our most compelling race to keep an eye on. Obviously, that battle for second is crucial, and it's probably going to be our closest 2 teams. The judges really could not agree on this one, but it will end up being a 9.75 for Bordas. Everything from a 9.6 to a 9.85 on that one. So that'll put Cal 0.3 ahead of NC State at the moment. And you can see NC State 0.3 ahead of Maryland, so we are well within the margin of 2 rotations of gymnastics left here in Athens. And to finish up, here is Milan Clossy. Clossy, the Pac-12 Freshman of the Year. Competes 3 events for Cal. She had a 9.825 earlier on beam, and she'll also be in the vault lineup in the next rotation. Starts off here with a full in. A little extra bounce out of that maybe in that second pass, though. Covered it a bit with the dance move. Stayed in bounds, importantly. And third pass here for Clossy. This is up. A half front layout. Nicely done, and that will solidify Cal's position in second, and perhaps allow them to tick up by another tenth or so on their team score.
Prepare to march to your next event. Your 2-minute transition will begin shortly.
And as we do not have an individual with Cal, that is going to bring us officially to the halfway point here of our coverage. Oklahoma running away with it, 99-175. Cal in second, NC State hanging tough, in Maryland shaking off a slow start on floor. They went 49 plus on vault, and the Terrapins are trying to put themselves back in this conversation as well. So with that, we'll step away for a break and come back with the third rotation from Stegman Coliseum. Oklahoma on beam, NC State on floor, Cal on vault, and Maryland on bars. When we continue, you're watching live coverage of NCAA gymnastics on ESPN3. About to get started with our routines here in the third rotation. Oklahoma is on beam, NC State on floor, Cal on vault, and Maryland on beam. And we'll get a look at Olivia Troutman, who will open up here on beam for Oklahoma. She is rightly known for the work she has done on floor exercise this year, and we'll obviously get there in the final rotation of tonight's competition, but no slouch on beam. She's got a season and career high 9.925. Being spot on there through her series. Rest of the Oklahoma beam lineup behind her: Brenna Dowell, Nicole Lehrman, Carly Woodard, Anastasia Webb, and Maggie Nichols is the anchor. Oklahoma right now on a season high pace. It would be the second highest score in the nation if this holds. And they obviously have beam and floor remaining. Beam, they are number 1 in the nation. Floor, they are number 2. Right now, the all-important margin between second and third sits just under 4/10. So NC State, some work to do going to floor, as Troutman sticks the dismount on beam. Now here you go for the Wolfpack, getting things started. Senior Caitlin Fillard opening with a very nice double pike. So NC State's got to find a way to put together their best here in these final 2 rotations if they're going to run down Cal, and Maryland needs to do that and then find 3 extra tenths as well. Floor statistically is the weakest event for NC State, but as we said, they're pretty much even across the board. Unfortunately, a fall there for Fillard. And so there will be some pressure on the Wolfpack now, needing basically to hit their next 5 to have any chance of top 2 finish. We saw floor was the issue for Maryland in rotation 1, and NC State not off to the start they wanted here in rotation 3. Cal, meanwhile, over on vault. Is a 9.9 for Troutman to open on beam, and Brenna Dowell getting ready to compete for Oklahoma. See there in the top left of your screen, a 9.85 for Sylvie Seilnacht. So 2 vaulters done for Cal. Maya Bortis opened with a 9.8. So here's Dowell. That's such a tough connected series, front to back, momentum shift, and you have to keep that continuity when all of your momentum is going one way, get it back on the other side. switch leap there. Dow had for her an uncharacteristic vault, 9.85, 9.9 on bars. Just a slight break on that full twisting back handspring. Not even a break, just a bobble. And Dow finishing up, plants it cold, punch front full, stuck landing dismount. A nice cheer from the Oklahoma crowd, which this team always travels well, or their fans always travel well. And it's hard to quite separate the Oklahoma Crimson in the stands from some of the Georgia Red. Now, the Gym Dogs competed in the afternoon session. This is a gymnastics town here in Athens, and plenty of folks just eager to check out some good gymnastics, see the #1 team in the nation. And do a little scouting before the Gym Dogs get ready to tackle the challenge tomorrow. Top left of your screen just saw the vault from Talitha Jones, that freshman trio. Check that, that was Kiana George, that was one behind. So we've had 4 vaulters complete for Cal, and good numbers to start. Two 9.8s and a 9.85. We'll await the scores here from Jones. And it is, George. It is a 9.9. Jones had a 9.8. Now Cal vaulting very well thus far, and now they get to their heavy hitters. You've got Milan Clossy, the freshman. Trying to bring Cal up into that 9.9 range here. 10.0 start value vault. Klossy, Yurchenko layout, 1.5, very nicely done. That's the tiniest of shuffles, but very clean. And we'll have one left, that is junior Rachel Mastrangelo. Meanwhile, on the beam now for Oklahoma is Nicole Lehrman. There was an MVP of the regional semifinals, and there is not. Lehrman would be an early contender here. 9.95, 9.925 start. And top right on bars, we had a fall from Maryland, and potentially scary situation there is the gymnast who fell actually collided with one of her teammates who was getting ready to pull the 8-inch mat out on the release. Luckily, everyone's all right. But Maryland is struggling for consistency early on. Lehrman, meanwhile, finishes with a stick on a gainer full off the side. And for Cal, that was Mastrangelo to finish up the Golden Bears vault. Back on the bars now after the fall for Maryland is Kirsten Peterman. Other 3 all hit, so Maryland can try to drop that, hit their last 2. Maryland bar scores so far. Emily LeBlanc opened really nicely with a 9.85. They just haven't been able to match that. Robinson 9.75, Agaron 9.7, and then Peterman there with the fall. They'll have Tiara Wright and Audrey Barber to finish up. 9-9 is the score for Lehrman, so all three 9-9 or better thus far as she finishes her night. Well-earned rest. Top left on vault, it is Michaela Robinson, a junior from North Carolina, and her teammate, Kasia Hislop, in the afternoon session, and she performs very well here on vault. A nice vault there. Her season best was a 9-9. And looks like that will be just shy of it. 9.875 there for Robinson on her vault. Oklahoma back up on the beam now with Carly Woodard. Woodard really closing the regular season and conference championship on a high note. She's been 9-9 or better her last 4 meets. Good series there, and just one of those gymnasts, and there's certainly different ways to attack the beam, and I think that is the word for Woodard. She's a very aggressive way about her, and suits her incredibly well on this event. Just you can tell she's confident, and the results have shown it. Good leap combination there. And a stuck landing on the dismount for Woodard. So Oklahoma still not blinking. And meanwhile, finishing up for NC State over on floor. That was Lauren Kent. So Wolfpack halfway done on floor exercise. See Cal's score, that is final through 3 rotations, 147.475. Maryland, meanwhile, got one of the routines they needed after a fall, and a 9.8 from Tiara Wright, and on the bars now with a sky-high Tkachev, Audrey Barber. Finish up and drop that fall for Maryland. She does with a stuck landing. Beautiful double layout and good grittiness there by Maryland. After they had to count the fall in the first rotation, they bounced back very nicely in the second with a 49.050 on vault and try to get back in that range here. Close to it, at least, on bars. On the beam now for Oklahoma is Anastasia Webb. Webb has a season best 9.975. She does have a perfect 10 as a freshman. Back handspring layout, step out, just a little balance check off to the side on that series. I think this is a really interesting note that there are 4 gymnasts in Oklahoma history who have scored a perfect 10 as a freshman. They're all currently on the team. It's something that has happened 4 times by 4 different gymnasts, and all obviously in the last 4 years as they're still active members of this roster. It just goes to show how they have just taken it to another level, really into the stratosphere under KJ Kindler over these past couple of seasons. And very good routine there by Webb. And that leaves Maggie Nichols in the anchor spot. bottom right on floor. This is Nicole Webb up 4th of 6 for NC State. The next routine is one to keep an eye on as well. Senior Alexa Phillips waiting on deck for the Wolfpack, so put a pin in that and come back to it momentarily. A little low there on that front pike, but good job by Webb. Lost a little bit of amplitude, but she kept it alive, kept her feet. Nicely done. NC State had a fall in their first routine by Fillard, and remember that they're needing to hit 5 in a row, and they're 3/5 of the way there. .9875 is the score for Webb. Woodard before her had a 9925. And here is Maggie Nichols. Speaking of 10s, to continue our conversation from a moment ago, this has got to be one of the weirdest things that I can remember in my years covering college gymnastics. Six 9975s this year for Maggie Nichols on beam. No 10s. See if she can break that here in the postseason. Maybe the 4-judge panel will break her out of this slump that she's in. She is the Big 12 champion on this event with a 995. As Oklahoma won their 8th straight team title. Back handspring layout, step out, and a little balance check. So 10 will wait for tomorrow night, perhaps. Alexa Phillips, right side of your screen. Special routine for the senior. She is an Athens native, so getting to compete here in Stegman Coliseum potentially for the final time if NC State doesn't qualify. You know she'll want to enjoy every moment of this routine in front of a home crowd. Plenty of folks cheering on the North Oconee native. Meanwhile, Nichols finishes up with a perfectly stuck 1.5. So Phillips, the Athens native, season and career high 9.9. She scored a 9.725 yesterday. And I'm sure was thrilled for the opportunity to come back out and compete today. Certainly the rest of her team wanted to as well, but getting to be here in this Coliseum, means a lot to her personally as well. Finishing up with a Rudy. And we've got one floor routine left for NC State. Drew Grantham. And then Danielle Mulligan. Oklahoma finishes up, I believe it's a 9.9 for Nichols. And it is. 49.5 on the nose. 198 very much in play this evening for the #1 Sooners. They're at a 148.675. That means a 49.325 on floor would be enough for the Sooners to get there, and I think that they could sleepwalk to a 49.325 the way they're going right now. .9875 comes up for Alexa Phillips. Now, if that is indeed her last routine as a collegiate gymnast, to do it in her hometown and to put up a 9875 is one that she can and should be proud of. Nice moment there, and now trying to keep it going. Here is Drew Grantham. Double tuck to open. Just a little stutter step. Nothing big. No matter what the Wolfpack do here, Cal will have added to their distance between second and third, put together their best rotation of the night at a good time, 49.350 on vault. Wolfpack trying to finish up strong with Grantham, double pike, chest down a bit on the landing. Overall, good routine for Grantham and a good rotation for NC State. They did the hard work, which was rebounding from that early fall from Fillard, hitting the next five, but they have to count a 9.65, 9.75, just lower numbers than they needed to be able to keep pace with what Cal's doing right now. And so they'll slip a bit further back in third. We have one more routine coming for you before we take our final break of the evening. We are flying along here in Athens. And don't forget, we are back at it tomorrow night. Get some sleep, rest, and recover from today. And you get to sleep in tomorrow. We're not back on the air until 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Georgia, Kentucky, Oklahoma near certainty at this point, and it's looking good for Cal. And boy, what a group of four that would be if that's our regional final here tomorrow night, with only two of those teams being able to advance. We hope that you'll rejoin us for our coverage. It's a 9.8 for Drew Grantham to finish up, and a 48.850 on floor for NC State. So certainly not a bad number, but again, Cal with a 49.350 on vault, so they'll add half a point of distance between themselves and NC State, thanks in large part to that 9.95 from Milan Clossie. That matches the career high for the freshman. And now Danielle Mulligan from New Hampshire. Mulligan's night so far had a tough bars routine, but bounced back in nice fashion with a 9.8 on beam. Second pass. 1.5 front layout. Mulligan this season, her best on floor, a 9.85. Finishing up with a Rudy. Nicely done, and a nice moment there for the senior to have her final floor routine. You get to have Stegman Coliseum to yourself for a moment, and that is something special and something well-deserved for the senior from New Hampshire. And with that, we are complete with our third rotation. We've got one to go, and we'll know whose tickets are punched to tomorrow night's regional final. Your scores as they stand: Oklahoma 148-675, Cal 147-475, NC State 146-6, and close on their heels Maryland 146-4. We'll take a break and come back. Fourth and final rotation: Oklahoma on floor, NC State on vault, Cal on bars, and Maryland on beam to wrap it up. From Stegman Coliseum, you're watching live coverage of the NCAA Athens Regional on ESPN3. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Kopp with you here on ESPN3. Final rotation of the night. We began today with 8 teams, and we will send you to bed tonight with 4, moving on to the regional final to be held tomorrow night, Saturday at 7 o'clock p.m. right back here in Stegman Coliseum. Live coverage available on ESPN and the ESPN app. We hope that you'll rejoin us then, but plenty to stick around for right here. It looks as if Oklahoma and Cal have done the work that they've needed to put themselves in position, but trying to get it across the finish line. There are your scores at the bottom of the screen. Also to see if Oklahoma can go above that 198 mark for the 6th time this season and really serve some notice heading into tomorrow night's competition. Cal leads NC State by just under 9/10, and the Golden Bears will finish on the uneven bars, where they are ranked 12th in the country, their best score of 49-4, so it's a pretty simple calculus right now for Cal. Hit, and they are moving on to tomorrow night along with Oklahoma. NC State will be on vault, trying to do their best to put some pressure on Cal, and only 2/10 behind NC State for third is Maryland, who overcame a shaky start with 2 falls on floor to put themselves back in the conversation. It's Victoria Prady for NC State, beginning with a Yurchenko tuck full, and on-floor exercise for the number 2 floor team in the nation, the Oklahoma Sooners. We begin with Anastasia Webb, starting with a very nice 2.5. Over on bars for Cal, Sophie Seilnacht, the senior. Beautiful stuck landing to begin things for Cal. You know, these routines take on outsized importance for seniors. It's the difference not just between extending your season, but extending your gymnastics career. And that's what Seilnacht is trying to do, along with her twin sister Sophie, who will be up third in the bars rotation for Cal. And Maryland, unfortunately, will come off the beam. That is Chanel Agaran to start for the Terrapins. Perfectly stuck Rudy by Webb to finish up. One nice feature for Oklahoma is they've got their cheering section right behind the Oklahoma corral there, very close to the floor, so it'll give the Sooners a little bit of a lift, try to make it feel like the Lloyd Noble Center here in Stegman Coliseum. Started with a 9.95 tonight and pretty much stayed there for Oklahoma. They have been as advertised thus far. And it's an opening 9-9 for Anastasia Webb. The rest of the Oklahoma floor order: Jordan Draper will be second, Jade DeGovea third, Emma LaPinta, the freshman, fourth, Brenna Dow fifth, and Olivia Troutman, one to watch. The number 2 floor worker in the NCAA as a freshman will be in the anchor spot. Kiana George finishing up for Cal on bars, and good landings for the Golden Bears to start things off here. Up second for Oklahoma, Jordan Draper. Whip half, 1.5. One of the things that you do tend to see with the top floor teams in the nation, it's not a coincidence, there's just great diversity of routine. And just from a stylistic standpoint, you have something very flashy and almost aggressive from Webb, and this one really all about having fun for Draper. Front full, front layout. A nice controlled lunge forward there. Cal, meanwhile, opened with a 9.825 and 9.85 from Silnocht and George. Talitha Jones getting ready to compete third. As Draper finishes up in the bottom right. Top right, Talitha Jones, one of this freshman trio. Her season and career high in 9.875 on bars. Good last handstand. Full twisting, double back, perfectly stuck. Tell you, Cal, if they hang around for tomorrow night, I think they'll feel better and better as this meet has gone on. It was not a slow start, but certainly I think on vault and bars, at least what we've seen of bars so far, they've gotten more confident as the night's gone on, and you know, they'll need to pull at least a minor upset and knock out, in all likelihood, with Oklahoma. You got to figure, barring disaster taking one of the spots out of this regional, you're looking at Georgia, Kentucky, and Cal likely fighting it out for the other spot. So for Cal to get out of here, they're going to have to beat 2 top 10 teams, including one on their home floor. It's a really tough assignment to come into this regional. And I think the way that Cal is closing this meet will at least feel like they'll be in the conversation. Back-to-back 9.85s now from George and Jones. And the scores come up, meanwhile, on floor for Draper, and it's a 9.85. For Cal on bars, one of their terrific bars competitors, Emmy Watterson, who's 19th in the country on this event. Great handstand work here. Shaposh with a half twist up to the high bar. Giant full right on top, and just a small hop back on that double tuck. But fun routine, a lot of difficulty in there, and very well executed. She should keep it rolling in that 9.8 range for Cal. And back up bottom right now, Jade DeGovea up third for Oklahoma on floor. The Big 12 Specialist of the Year. 2-event competitor for OU, floor and vault. Comes with a 2.5 and maybe a bit over-rotated there. That step looked a little off to the side. DeGovea's had a trio of 9.95s this season. Impressively came out of the gate with back-to-back 9.95s to start the year. Front layout, front full. Bars routine from Emmy Watterson a minute ago, a 9.825. So all 4 floor scores, or excuse me, bar scores for Cal, 9.825 or 9.85 as DeGovea finishes up. Over on the bars is Nina Shank, second to last routine here for Cal. Their anchor is freshman Maya Bordas. It's a young Cal team. They're going to be heard from again next year, no doubt. Full twisting double back and a hop back on the landing there for Shank, but another good one overall. Meanwhile, NC State just finished up in the top left there on vault. Looked like that final vault score is a 9.8 for Drew Grantham. Everything in the 9.7, 9.8 range for NC State. No mistakes. Had a great meet. Remember, they competed yesterday in a dual meet against UNH at 2 p.m. Had to rest, recover, turn around, compete again tonight. That's a tall order for any team, and they acquitted themselves incredibly well. Not going to have the numbers to chase down Cal or Oklahoma in all likelihood here, but I think the Wolfpack can go back to Raleigh and feel very good about what they accomplished here. And for the same reason that, they expanded the play-ins in the NCAA basketball tournament, I like the play-ins too, because, if you're these teams that are seeded 32nd through 36, you have a chance to get a win in an NCAA regional. I think it's a format that gives those teams a spotlight. Look at a team like Lindenwood that had a national spotlight on them yesterday and got to compete in NCAA regional. I think that's one of the real pluses of this new format. Cal will finish up on bars with Maya Bordas. You saw a beautiful straddled Jaeger just a minute ago. And on floor right now is Emma LaPinta. Finishing up, stuck landing, and that will send Cal into tomorrow night's regional final. Picking up with LaPinta. The freshman has really come in and made this event her own. 9 of her last 10. Oh, check that. 9 of her last 10 have been hit. She did have a fall last week at the Big 12 Championship, so in that sense, trying to bounce back here. Her season and career best, 9.875. Finishing up, double pike. Very well done. Maybe just a little bit too much power. Tried to keep that front foot planted and maybe slid it a bit on that 4-incher. Overall, very, very well executed by the freshman. And now you've got Brenna Dow and Olivia Troutman to bring it home for Oklahoma. Two 9.9s and a 9.85 so far for Oklahoma. De Gavea had a 9.9, and this will also be a 9.9 for LaPinta. Top right, that was Maylee Costa from Brown, just a freshman. Really impressive debut season for Brown out of the ECAC. A vault and bar specialist for the Bears. And always something very positive as a freshman to get this kind of NCAA regional experience and bring it back to your team as a sophomore next year. She'll be expected to be a leader up there in Providence. And here we go on floor. Brenna Dow for Oklahoma. Starting with the Dow, front double pike. Debuted it earlier this year, and that's a rarefied air you're breathing when you're throwing skills named after yourself in competition, and she is that kind of talent for Oklahoma. There's just a really great fluidity to this routine. She is absolutely terrific on this event. 9 of her last 10 routines, 9.925 or higher. It's only once in about 3 months has she been below 9.925. And from what we've seen, I think today is likely to extend that honor for Dow. Gearing up for her final pass. Front layout, front full, connected to that double stag. Very well done. And I'll say this sort of tongue-in-cheek, sort of not. Oklahoma, everything that they've done tonight, this massive score they're going to put up, you could probably make the argument that it was a subpar night from their senior all-arounder, Dow, in that she had 2 9.85s. She had a 9.9 on bars, 9.85s on vault and on beam. And we'll await her score on floor. We've got 110 and 3 9.95s. So Dow will take a 9.95, and that, folks, has sealed the 198 score for Oklahoma that they've been tracking on all night. 198, 175. The only thing is they won't be able to improve on it too much here because they're only dropping a 9.85. But this is one that, who cares about the score? This is a routine you want to see. Olivia Troutman, just a freshman, number 2 in the nation on floor exercise, Big 12 floor champion, and already with 1 perfect 10 under her belt in her collegiate career. Starts with a double layout, beautifully done. Front layout, front full. Perfectly controlled. And setting up now for her final pass. Troutman to bring it home for Oklahoma. Double tuck. Perfect finish. And what a night for the #1 team in the nation. That'll send Oklahoma into the regional final with a bang. And they've got their sights set on far more than that. They want to bring the trophy home on that short drive from Fort Worth to Norman. And they have come out of the gate here and served notice that the Sooners are going to be reckoned with again here in 2019. Great performance by Oklahoma to wrap up a victory here in the semifinal. Cal will take second. NC State third and Maryland fourth. We didn't get a lot of drama on the team side. Those scores are pretty well stratified this evening, but the drama's coming tomorrow night, don't you worry. And we've got a 9.975 for Troutman to finish up. 2 10s, 2 9.95s. It's a 49.625 on floor. It's a 198.3 for Oklahoma tonight. Second highest score of the year for the Sooners, just a 1/4 of a tenth off of their best mark. We've got 2 individuals left that will bring us home. On beam, it is Rachel Underwood, the all-arounder out of Western Michigan. And on floor exercise, India Anderson, the senior out of Temple University. Anderson's first pass, big double pike. She's got a ton of power in this routine. Switch side Pope in the corner as she sets up for what is a really fun second pass. Front full through into that double tuck as Underwood finishes up with a stuck landing on her beam routine. Great finish to the senior on her night in the all-around to finish things up here with the stick. Well-deserved and well-earned. Two seniors getting special moments here in Stegman Coliseum. Anderson to finish it off with a Rudy. The senior missed nearly 2 years of her career with a torn Achilles and gets a warm ovation from both the Oklahoma Corral and the Sooners section behind her. She was just a bit short on that Rudy. Well, he had a really stellar routine going. And with that, our night comes to a close. There are your final scores on the screen. Oklahoma 198-3. My goodness. Cal 196-750. NC State and Maryland see their seasons end tonight. 195-4 for NC State. They improved on their score from yesterday's dual meet win against New Hampshire to take third here in the semifinal. Maryland just couldn't get it going after those early falls on floor. 194-650 for the Terrapins. So Oklahoma and Cal are moving on, and they will face Georgia and Kentucky in tomorrow night's regional final. We hope that you'll rejoin us then and come back to Stegman Coliseum. 2 tickets will be punched to the NCAA Championship in Fort Worth. That will conclude our coverage tonight for Athens. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll see you back here tomorrow night on behalf of all of us here at ESPN3. This is Kevin Kopp saying thank you so much for watching, and good night from Stegman Coliseum.